Hey everybody, welcome back to another drawing tutorial. So today we are going to be drawing an animal, a hyena. So been a while since I've done an animal one. There's always big gaps between the animal ones. They take forever. So sorry I can't do animals more often, but I do like doing them. So I will keep doing them. They'll just be every couple of weeks maybe. It just takes a while to prepare them, that's all. So hyena, right? I'm on a landscape orientation page. Use a pencil for these definitely, and hit pause when I move my hand or if I go too fast or anything like that. Okay, so we're going to start with the eyes, right? The eyes and the nose, they're like in a triangle together. I think it's the easiest way to start animals and humans. But so center point of my page is about here. So his ears are quite big and his forehead is quite big, so the eyes are just a little bit lower than halfway on my page, okay? And I'm on A2 orientation, like A2 size. A3 would work fine, they're the same proportions. A4 would even work. A4 would be like tiny, like here. It's not tiny, standard page A4. It would work too if you had a really sharp pencil. But A3 would be fine, same proportions. Anyway. So we're going to start with the eyes. So center point, approximately there, down just a little bit, and then across to the right hand side. I'm going to start with the eyes. So we're going to curve it over. And it kind of kicks up a bit at the end. A little bit of a spike. On this hyena anyway. Then the bottom, so comes down, back up, around to there. So then iris, so it's just like, you can just see a sort of circle, but you can only see the edges of it. So it goes around underneath his eyelid and then comes back in up here somewhere. So his pupil then, just a circle sort of in here somewhere. So they're quite small, I guess, pupils, but right, like something like that. Hyena's eyes are quite dark, so sometimes you don't see the pupil, right? Sometimes there's just like a shine, like completely black, and a white highlight if you want, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a white highlight just out here, and then add some shadow on the top. So I'm just like adding some extra lines here, shading it in. That kind of thing, you know. Okay, and then just around his eye, I'm just going to color this dark black. Okay. So then, hyenas have a couple of extra sort of skin lines around their eyes, right? So we got like coming down from say this part. We got like an extra line coming down here. And these can be black or dark gray. It's kind of up to you, right? This kind of thing. And then a bit of another one, right? So like, let's say, just coming down again. So like a double sort of skin line. Like that, okay? Kind of bags under their eyes. So then just above, so we have like sort of hairy sort of eyelid line coming across. Like so. And then we have big eyelid sort of coming around like this. And hyenas are unusual creatures. They're kind of like dogs, but they're a bit like cats as well. So they're kind of cool. So they have this kind of another shape for like an area where whiskers seem to grow out or something. It's just like, it's like an upside down teardrop, like this kind of thing. And I'm doing it in sort of sketchy hairy lines here. See? It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a comet or a shooting star, or like just a raindrop sort of shape beside his eyebrow. Right? So we'll go over and do the other eye. Now the eyes are quite far apart. The other eye is like over here. So like they're real far apart. Like this is where the other tear duct is, right? So, you know, so like you can fit, let's measure this eye and see, like you can go 1, 2, 3. So you can fit 3 eye widths across here. So the width of this eye, whatever it is on your page, measure that and go 1, 2, 3, right? Approximately. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly, but you just go 1, 2, 3. You just don't want to be like close inside here. Then once you get that, you can do pretty much the same thing. So you curve it over, spike it up at the back. Now, eyes don't have to be 100% symmetrical. Okay, just, I know some people really like symmetry and it annoys them when things aren't symmetrical, but it sort of in real life, things aren't actually symmetrical, you know? So don't worry if your eye is like a little bit skinnier, a little bit bigger. You actually want one eye bigger than another usually in real life. So just a little, you know, take it easy. Things look weird if they're 100% symmetrical. So you got that sort of shape again, that sort of bean kind of shape. It kind of looks like a human eye, except for that kind of spike at the end. And then we'll attempt an iris again. So make a circle coming around. So imagine it like comes down and then it'll come back up somewhere, just like in here. And I'm going to do this dark. And in here, just a little bit darker as well. Okay. And then the pupil. So I can't actually see the pupils, but in the picture I'm drawing from, but I'm going to draw them in anyway. So, because it wouldn't really make sense without them, I think. Like so. And then you add your highlight again, and then some like hatching on top, coming down the side. Okay. And then those kind of bags that are underneath his eye, so dark sort of section, and then another one coming down here. Like so. And then we'll go for those eyelid lines, so like a sketchy line, because he's a furry creature. Like so, and then big sort of eyebrow, eyelid area, kind of there, and then that sort of tear duct kind of area beside his eye here. Just check and see what I did on the other side. Like so. Okay. So, all right, so our nose, right? So the nose for the hyena, so the width for the eyes, right, from tear duct to tear duct is about the same as the distance to, say, the center of his nose, right? So like here to here, like this distance, tear duct to tear duct, is the same as the tear duct to like the middle of his nose. Okay, so that's your proportion, right? So like say the center point for his nose, we'll just put a dot, right, there. So here to here is about the same as here to here. Not exactly, but close, right? See, here to there. Okay, so that's your like triangle that you want to get. And that's the middle of his nose, right? So you could have, we'll just do a line across just so we can see like the top of his nose, right? So he has a kind of layer of nose on top of that as well. Right, so we kind of curve it up the side. And then the layer of nose on top is here. So like kind of a bumpy sort of line just there. So this is going to come down the side, right, of the nose. So real square, big sort of nose, right? Come across like this. So it's like just a rectangle, like it's real big. Okay. And then the nostrils come down the side, right? So a line coming down this way, it kind of curves around here. And then we have the dark black portion of the nostril in here. So these are like the inside actual hole of the nostril just here. It could have some hatching along, like it could get lighter along the outside, so it doesn't have to be completely dark everywhere. Okay. And of course there's the line down the middle of his nose, just there. And you could add some like extra lines just for skin sort of areas. You know, some like hatching along the side. We do pretty much the same thing here as well. So you got that sort of nostril area. It's like a skin flap or something sticking down like that. And then the dark portion of the nose sticks out here. And we got some shadows inside. Like that. So this is like generally the way you would draw like a dog nose, any sort of canine sort of nose. They have these type of nostrils, all of them. They're generally the same. So if you followed any of my dog tutorials, you'll know the sort of the way to do this anyway. I've done a few dog ones already. So it's just like wider or something. Right, so then coming down from the nose, right? So we got his big top lip, right? So a line coming down the center there. And he's got a quite flat snout. So it kind of comes across like this along the bottom. Okay. And then it goes up the side. So it'll go up this way. So quite square. And I'm using quite sketchy lines because he is a furry creature, so. And you can have some other lines coming down to show his snout just down here. See what I mean? So this kind of square sort of shape going up towards the bridge of his nose, right? So this will actually continue up into like his eyebrow area. Like this. So we got a snout there. And then he can have some lines coming up the middle. Okay. Some hairlines kind of in here, just to show the sort of inner eye sort of area, like that. So now, So that's like the main portion of his snout, right? He does have whiskers and stuff, but I'll add them last when I have everything else drawn. So his bottom lip, right? So he's got kind of a canine sort of thing going on. So he's got those jowls kind of at the side of his mouth, right? These are black. So these are like his lips or his gums, right? And they come along the bottom. So one here, same on the other side. They don't have to be symmetrical, but just this kind of shape, you know, they're those black gums and black lips that dogs and canines have. And then this comes down like that, right? So it kind of looks like he's smiling. And then some shadow just underneath the lip here. Not a lot, just enough to make you think there's a shadow there. Okay, so you can see quite a wide face, big jaws, right? That's the main thing to remember. So then more of this can come up side of his face, right? So kind of like hairy, and it'll go up towards the eye, right? So you got a line coming down here. See here, they kind of nearly join together. Will they? Yeah, I think they will. That looks good. So you're kind of testing things out as you go. You know, you're just kind of seeing what works, kind of. So I'm trying to add jaw sort of shapes. Sketchy kind of lines usually works well with animals because, you know, they're furry. So just going for this kind of stuff. So we're going to give him sort of bags under his eyes as well. So like furry ones. Coming around underneath the eye. Same thing down here. Like so. And you're just sort of feeling it out. Adding some little details like more snout lines coming around his face. But you know, less is more usually, so I'll stop. You don't have to do too much. Right, so that's like the shape for his jaw and his face. He does have a wider sort of head shape as well. So to do that, let's see, I guess we gotta put like his ears in first. So yeah, right, so we'll do the line just up the middle of his head, right? So we're gonna go up to say where like his furry sort of portion would be. Kind of this kind of thing. And then, so where his ears are, I would say, how high up do you want to go? So big guess. So let's measure. Eyes to top of his head is the same as eyes to bottom of the nose. Yeah, okay, so eyes to the bottom of his nose there is about the same as eyes to the top of the head, right? So that's where this sort of furry hair area is going to start. Okay. So he's got like some fur coming out of the middle of his head here, sort of hair spikes, right? And then the ears come all the way out and around, right back to the side of his head, okay? So I'm gonna say, and we're gonna put an ear here. So we're just kind of over his eye. Yeah, just over the inside of his eye. And then this is going to go up. So we're gonna go up like that. And that goes into his temple here. It's kind of furry and fluffy sort of area. And he's got all hair here as well, but we'll do the ears first. And he's got like a chunk taken out of his ear. Do all hyenas have chunks taken out of their ear? I think they do. And then this kind of comes out and around then. Real big, right? Crazy big. Way bigger than you think, see? They must have great hearing. And curves around. So really like, it's really like kind of like a bat wing, you know? Curves around here for his earlobe. And goes into the side of his head, right? So the side of his head then is here, okay? So really wide. See, out beyond this part of his face. And this comes down towards his neck. And he does have like an extra sort of furry sort of neck area here, okay? So you can make that as furry as you'd like. And there's an outer neck portion as well. We'll finish his ear first anyway. So there's like all sort of hair coming down here. And there's a dark shadow in this section and like an outer line just here. Like so. And then kind of lines coming up the side of his head. Like this. And a dark shadow sort of in here, like a black sort of section just in here, like a real dark sort of area shadow for the ear. So you can like hatch it, do it with hatching, or you can shade it in. Just the outer edge of his ear there. And like some more sort of hair kind of sticking up here. And it's kind of dark in behind the hair here. Okay, so you're just sort of feeling that out and seeing where the shadow needs to be. And when if you're hatching and if you go further apart with your lines, it makes a lighter shade. Closer together hatching, it makes a darker shade. And then there's just pure black shadow, of course. But we'll leave it there anyway for his ear. I'll add actually an extra sort of bump just across his forehead here. Okay, so that's kind of basically one side of his head done. So we're going to do another ear over here and the side of his head as well, and we'll add a shadow and stuff in there. Okay, so the other ear, kind of similar. Above his eye, just here, see, above the inside of his eye, that's where you want to start. And we got some bumps here, just to show that it's joining his head. Okay. And then this will go around. So no bite taken out of this ear. You can do it if you want, of course. But we're gonna just go all the way around. Into there. I might thicken up some of these edge lines actually, just to make it stand out a little bit more. So what I'm doing now is just giving an extra line weight. So on the outside, sometimes it can just make certain parts of your image jump out a little bit more, that's all. You know? So, and then we pretty much do the same thing as over here. So we're gonna go you know, down side of his head. So like side of his head starts like here, you know, furry sort of section, hair spikes sticking out. You can go in all sorts of different directions. Sort of down his neck. Kind of up to you really, how furry you want to make him. You know, you can go in underneath his collar, and it can actually go down the front of his neck as well if you wanted. So when I say collar, I mean like where his throat would be, or where he, as if you could get a hyena into a collar, but he's quite hairy down here as well. And then he does have like a thicker neck. Before I do this ear, so I might as well finish just his neck. So he's got like, you know, kind of a furry section. Just there. That kind of thing. And then similar around the back here. So as furry or as wide as you want to make that now. Like so, okay. So then, same thing for his ear as this side. So we go just hairy sort of lines coming down here, coming down his head. That kind of thing. And the edge line coming out around like so. And then that big sort of shadow, that big sort of dark sort of portion. Just here, and it's like hatching all inside. Or just pure black shadow. Doesn't have to be hatched if you don't like hatching, if you find it tedious. You know, you could just color it black, go like extreme dark if you wanted. But you know, feel it out. It's your drawing. See what you like doing. Find your own sort of way of doing things. So just with hatching, you just kind of build it up until like you don't think it needs any more, basically, you know. I'm not an expert at hatching. I mean, I'm a bit scribbly when I do it, but that's okay. Like it's, I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Like so, and I think he needs another sort of bump coming around his forehead here. Like so, and maybe something else coming up in there. And he's got like, do you ever watch Star Trek? I know this is unusual, but he's got like Worf lines from Star Trek, you know? Klingon sort of forehead going on, coming down here. It's the only way I can describe it. Coming down like his forehead here. So just add some of those. People are like, that looks nothing like Worf. I know. Sorry, Star Trek fans. And then, yeah, so just like kind of hair spikes at the back. So kind of sticking up the center here. And it's sort of coming down around his head. And like some coming up the center. And kind of growing down the middle then. Kind of like this. And you can make this as hairy or as not hairy as you'd like, of course. So, yeah. I think that's about it. I can't see anything else to add. So, I think I'll leave it there. How to draw a hyena. I always say I'm going to stop and then I never do. I can keep going. You could keep going forever, of course, but the trick is finding when to stop. Okay, let's stop. That's enough. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.